Josh Novak today looking at what happened in this game. Ohio State defense versus UT offense. Ohio State fans, it will be very, very difficult for anybody to score against you based off personnel in the secondary, linebacker level, scheme, how stout they are up front. I do think there's some pass rush issues. They don't really generate much by themselves, but at least in this game. And we'll see how that gets fixed going forward. But I think you'll be just fine. Now, UT offense, I also think you'll be fine. Do I think Arch is overrated based off us recruiting him in the past? Yes. Do I still think he's a very good quarterback? Yes. I think the expectations were just so ridiculous. Okay, that this was kind of bound to happen a little bit. But he misses some easy throws. Okay, Ohio State does some great things in coverage. So let's kind of look what happens throughout this game, right? So there will not be another play where a UT receiver is this open the rest of this game. Okay, first play of the game, they run a naked sail concept. They get the country cover 3. They get what they wanted. Okay, he just absolutely dirts it. Like I said, I don't think this happens this many times with Arch the rest of the season, where he just misses it that badly. Up front wise, Ohio State runs a lot of double threes this game, a lot of bear, a lot of make a bear, like they could be possibly doing here. I don't know if 8 just feels run, so he triggers, or they're doing a build a bear, right? 3, 5, build a bear, 3, 5, right? So this is kind of a pretty common concept this game. They play mostly zone coverages, kind of NFL-ish, not a ton of man. Pretty common RPO for these guys. I said in the past, they're not a great RPO team from a timing perspective. Like in my world, I don't know how they're reading it. Okay, in my world, it's a space read. And I love glancing against cloud because of all that space right there. They have more timing issues in the RPO world. Okay, it's not what they major in. You can see the back is on the already past Arch, right? And the route is 3 yards downfield. So not the timing you want to be able to read it out. But pretty well blocked zone play. These guys don't hold up well in zone the rest of this game very much. Zone duos, much better encounters. From a UT online perspective, pass pro, they are pretty good this game. Run game wise, I've never really liked their run game. I hate when coaches call like players soft, right? Because that player beat your ass 99% of the time. They're just soft in their techniques. This is how they're being taught. Okay, you can run off the ball or you can waddle off the ball. And these guys are definitely very, very slow off the ball. Once again, it's how they're taught, their techniques. They waddle, and because of that, they don't get movement. We'll see later in the game when they need to get movement. They're waddling to collect movement, to collect defensive movement. Sorry, confusing. To collect defensive stunts, movements, all that kind of things. But they don't run. They don't move people that don't want to be moved very often. And that's kind of showed up the last couple of years in the run game stats. I believe this is a 3rd and short. Okay, running choice. NFL guys call it water, so clear out up here, and our choice is down here. So he can break out or in based off leverage. Perfect defensive call against it. Okay, they end up getting a bracket on the choice runner, as we're about to see here. And I just never liked this water concept backside. Like the ball is hardly ever goes there. It's really crowded. It's a hard read for a quarterback to throw a second look dig, in my opinion. I've never liked that concept. Okay, we see the bracket on the choice runner is perfect timing. All right, so what Patricia did on defense is pretty damn good this game. Make for a 3rd and short, or 4th and short, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's 3rd down. Make for a 4th and short. I think they ended up getting stuffed there. They got stuffed on 2 tush pushes. Like I said, they just can't create movement when they need to create movement up front. It's mostly just covering people up, kind of that style. They had some really nice counters this game, right? They get the Build-A-Bear here, like I talked about. We're getting to bear front, which you love counters, because now I can stick 2 people backside. They have, I think Downs is out here, right? So they're short to the play side defensively here. So counter hit, much better than the zone concepts hit. Really nice job taking the run through. Everybody blocking their gap to their right, basically, and now we're pulling and kicking and wrapping. All right, so counter schemes were good based off how Ohio State was playing defensively. So we can stick now guys backside. These guys are all wasted. We have 3 in the backside gap. We have numbers to the play side offensively. Good call, good execution. from UT there. Okay, what I don't like, I've talked about in the past, I know it's all the rage. I'm not a huge fan of duo. I think no matter where you grade it, it grades out worse than inside zone based off like any study you look at, where that's big enough. The issue is it takes so long. This play takes so long to hit that you're just ISO blocking up front. Like the guard is going to lose based off the timing of how long this whole thing takes. For as long as time exists, these guys on defense are generally better than these guys on offense. I don't care what level you're at. I don't care how long I live on this earth. That will basically always be true. So let's try to shorten these blocks. Let's try to give help, all that kind of thing. So, second part of duo, second part of the run game period. If the ball is going here, right? So the ball is going this way. I want the backers slid this way, right? I want to create angles. The goal is to put offensively, right? Ball me man. I want to be between the ball. I do not want to run this way when the linebackers are this way, right? It's pretty common sense, right? So I'd want to run something this way and try to capture it. Sarkisian does not, to my knowledge, double call plays, kill plays, can plays. He basically runs everything into every defensive front, everything into every coverage, and says, guys, figure it out, which obviously is basically the opposite of my philosophy. But I drive a forklift. He makes $10 million a year, so what do I know? Just brutal, right? We have brutal angles on the combos. Like you never want combos working straight up. Just physics are not on your side. Angles are not on your side. Leverage is not on your side. Okay, I don't also want to have my front side guard one-on-one with Ohio State 3-tech for 9 seconds to run the ball 2 yards. Finally, I don't like putting my worst blockers, my third rant on duo, and then I'm done. My worst blockers are all of these guys, K-wing skill numbers. I do not want to put them at the point of attack. Rant is now over on duo. Just look at the numbers, okay? I know it's like the rage. Please just do some studying. Look at your own numbers. I actually really like this. So this is a great idea. I talked about this in the past of pinning the D end on dash. You want a motion, so you have leverage on the D end. I think this is a great motion. Depending on how wide that guy is, you can always stop as a tight end and pin to get the dash concept out. I love this concept offensively. Ohio State does a great job of covering it. Okay, we're putting 3 layers out here. Like I said, I love to put 3 layers out. If anything, you want Parker, limiting the point guy, to keep it a little bit higher and run to the pylon, so then the quarterback can then flatten you back out. Then we create the true 3-level separation, right? You want like 20 yards distance here between these 2 routes and 20-ish yards distance between these 2 routes. So he's a little bit flat, but this is about as well as you can cover it in single high defense from Ohio State. And these guys are stupid good on defense. They're super well coached. You can control Patricia's the real deal. Okay, but I like the idea. 3rd and long, get outside the pocket. You're probably not going to protect on these funky pressures and stuff. Good idea, better defense. Like I said, these guys are elite on defense. This is 4th and short. This is kind of a shame. So I like this call again offensively. This is a good call. So I've talked about this in the past, the pull and throw stuff we called it, kind of your naked zone reads. Okay, ring the end. Now they're doing a full on. We just kind of blocked it back here, but we're reading the end. If he gives us a pull read, then now we're running like a good naked concept out for the quarterback going high-low to run. If the DN sits like he does here, we're handing the ball off. The issue here occurs up front. So we have to push everything. We get a gang call, where they're calling it, where they all have to push inside zone now to block all these people over here. Now by releasing him, we have nobody to block 8, which is where this ball winds off to. Now defensively, they bust it and don't cover it, so it works out for them. You'd imagine 8 should be taking the slider back out. We'd be reading this guy, and we should be giving it for a gash offensively. 8 busts his coverage, I would imagine. 8 busts the coverage, but because the DN sits, we give it, and he makes a tackle and stops it short. Right, so Ohio State kind of I like this call offensively. It's well executed offensively. You get the movement you want. Okay, 8's busts help the defense here, and he makes a tackle and keeps it short. He should be out of the fit. He should be taking the tight end back out, and this thing should be a gash. So this is like my duo point, right? If I want the ball here, I want all the numbers defensively this way. So then I can just mash it and push it and then wind it all back. This is a great example of what should be a great run. 8's bust on defense helps him tackle it down. So Ohio State lucks into that one a little bit. Same thing here, duo. You see, I mean, they just build a freaking wall up front. They get no movement. The tight end gets choke slammed 3 yards back into the backfield. The angles are bad. It's all bad. This combo working just straight up vertically to the zero, who's going to fall back, is not what you want. This guy will choke slam the tight end. That whole world. I'm sorry, I take that back. They have good angles here because Ohio State's playing too high defense. They have good angles. I was wrong. The issue is still you're putting your worst matchup. If you have 5 matchups here, you're putting your worst matchup at the point of attack. And you see what happens. You just get choke slammed and ball bounces all the way back out. So this is very NFL-ish. So NFL and college. College plays a lot more tight coverage, a lot more like true brackets. The cover 7 world, they play much more tight coverage. NFL plays, because you want to limit the big explosives down the field much more so, let them run it. They play really high zones. Okay, I'm oversimplifying, but generally that's what's happening. And this is an NFL concept. Okay, so this is cover 3. 3-week buzz, whatever you want to call it. The hook player is just playing from such big depth, right? Because he has the over route of who becomes 3. So you love, I talked about this a little bit in my Tennessee video, to run 3 on the crosser, create 3 levels, right? And then have him also on the deep over, right? So now you create another level over there. But that's Josh Downs playing the hook from 15 yards deep, whatever that is. And everybody will run with the pylon, the deep over, what they want to call this route, and forcing the check down and just rally and tackle. Like I said, UT did a really nice job in protection. Ohio State fans, I'd be a little bit concerned. So this kid was at UNC when I was there. He is a good UNC player. A good UNC player should not be at Ohio State, especially on 3rd and whatever, right? He had I think 7.5 sacks last year. 5.5 came in a 2-game stretch. Right? Good UNC player, not what you want Ohio State-wise, rushing the passer on 3rd and long. So something they probably have to generate pass rush a little bit more going forward, but they're so freaking good in coverage and so multiple. They'll be okay. Good protection. They had good protection almost the whole day, except for the last play where they just busted it. We'll get to that. I just put this on here defensively. It's hilarious. So this is like Harrison Smith stuff with the Vikings. Right, this is man free. Your post player is 2 yards off the ball. Okay, and now he's just going to haul ass around to the post. Once again, great protection. Okay, I talked about this in my Tennessee video. I think gap protections are really, really good. If you treat it, especially like full slide, and slide everybody over a gap and kick out the edge, running back double the edge. If there's any leaking to get out. So this is like a white cross variation, okay, with a big pylon. Not what you want against man free. Okay, but just like a stupid good disguise, bringing downs off the edge. Okay, and then having your post safety come from 2 yards off the ball. So something I haven't seen in college, see a lot in the NFL. Pretty cool concept. Now, I don't know how useful this guy is. I've never studied it. Like, does this guy ever actually make a play on anything? I don't know. But maybe he just visually detracts from throwing some of that stuff, so that's good enough. Something I'll have to study a little bit more to see the actually effectiveness of it, but cool to watch. Great pro, just nowhere to go. Man free, floods, not what you want offensively. So Choice against quarters. Okay, quarter halves, it looks like. Choice. So this is like the Vikings concept. So choice, like with the juke route, or the NFL runs it. Okay, so you're on the juke route, you're on the choice, clear out, same thing. You get a slant or run the out. Quarterback wise is a pure progression on 1 to 2 to 3. The ball never gets there backside, so it's basically a 1 to 2. The issue. So Sark loves motions. He gets himself in a little bit of trouble sometimes because it is just so cattywampus. You can see here, the spacing is so bad. Like, what do you actually get from this motion? Nothing. And what do you lose? You lose the release because it becomes just so cluttered. Like, you should like choice against quarters. You're one-on-one with the quarter flat player. You have a two-way go. We love to break inside. Hopefully, they're pushing their quarters coverage that way. Okay, it should be a big hit. By motioning to it, at least on this rep, right, just throws off the timing and the spacing. If you were to start in that same spot, you'd be fine. And hopefully winning back inside like he does here, and you'd be catching and going and hopefully up on the safety. Okay, so I know like Twitter loves motions. Sometimes I'm not the biggest fan, right? Because I like the quarterback to see. I like the double call. I like to be in clean pictures. Obviously, there are times to do it. Just make sure you're getting your spacing and timing proper on all this stuff. This is okay. So I actually love this. So Pylon concept, same thing. Gap Pro. I mean, that is as solid as a pocket as you'll see. So pylons. So my favorite concepts in the world are pylons. So kind of like inverted floods, right? So 50, however you want to teach it, 15 yards, running to the back pylon. You can catch the ball 40 yards on the numbers, whatever, however you want to teach it. Okay, there's a couple different ways. And then what you do with this guy is kind of the debate in my mind. Okay, so the NFL styles run kind of like a heat route, which I don't. 15 yards on the hash. If you're uncovered, sit. If you're covered, right, break back out. The issue is this guy. So this guy can help. They're going single high. This guy falls off, which he does here. Right? What are you actually throwing to this guy? So I like throwing like a glance and then kind of like a return route off of it. So 20 yards out of bounds. So you create the same flood we typically do. I imagine the back's getting out here. We're creating like inverse post crosser relationship. Okay, I just like this one a little bit more. It helps you versus man, but a great concept. You can see here, corner falls off. Okay, so now they have the pylon bracketed. The ball should be going to this route right here. However you want to run it. Where are they at? I would be taking a little bit higher. 20 yards out of bounds would be with the landmark, right? Because they're doubling the pylon. So I should have a really nice high-low on the flat defender here. Arch doesn't see the corner drop off, which it is difficult to see because his eyes need to be there. You just have to assume from quarterback wise, the pylon route will beat the middle of the field safety. Okay, and then get the ball back down to our high-low down here. So Arch misses this one. Should be a nice little 15, 20, 25-yard completion, right? Catch and run up the field. Instead, he takes the pylon and it gets bracketed. Great job by the corner of seeing it and falling off, though. Same thing, though, like Gap Pro is the best thing we can do here. We chip it. We do everything perfectly. Great protection. All right, so I talked about playing with depth. This is another example, okay? So this is the hook defender playing from depth. They're running glance. I actually like this concept. Glance, okay, with like the stutter rail show choice from the running back. And then we have a return route as our drop down. The issue is these guys are just playing from such big depth in zone coverage. There's nowhere really to go. And then cover three, I could not think of a worse concept than fade slant. You're running directly into people. And for some reason, Arch chooses down here. Maybe they showed man. Let me see. Kind of. Yeah, so they do a good job of showing man. So maybe it's like man work down here. Zone work up top. But I would never work down here. I would always work up top. They just do a great job from depth of covering it. The one adjustment you could make is like, hey, take this glance. If it's single high, make it a seam route. So we end up high-lowing this defender with the return route coming back underneath it. Right, so you have seam. Right, if the corner's going to fall off and take the rail route, you have seam. 2 tight end coming back underneath. Okay, but once again, 2 fade, 1 slant. I could not think of a worse concept to call into cover 3. Could be indication, right? 2's on the ball, 1's off. That's pretty obvious that 2 is the deeper. I don't know why people do this when they don't do it normally. I don't think that half a yard, if you crowd the ball properly, is going to change much from a spacing. Right, so keep your normal alignment, offensive guys. Don't put 2 on the ball and then 3 on the ball and 1 on the ball based off formation or based off concepts. Because then it's easy, right? This could have been man free, and they saw, oh shit, 2's on the ball. Let's zone it off because when 2's on the ball, he goes vertical, and 1's under. I don't know why people think that this yard difference makes all that different in all these concepts. And then up top, you have 3 tight guys, right? Let's just zone this off defensively, right? So this could be like a cover 6 world. Don't know the play call, but they end up just stumbling right into coverage. Did he 5 this? So I was trying to see protection. I can't tell. I considered him on the ball, yeah. 5 it. Same RPO from earlier. Oh, so I put this on here. So this would be interesting, like super small sample size, but does tempo, I have no clue how Patricia's calling it, how the play calls are coming out. This is definitely a tempo call offensively. We can see Ohio State's not getting set, and we do have a bust, right? We have a cloud corner backside, and everybody else is playing cover 3. Right, so going forward, does Ohio State struggle with tempo? No clue. Just put this on there because that could be an issue if Patricia has like really long play calls or he wants to see formations. I'm sure people will see this going forward, like, oh, okay, let's see if we can tempo them and create an easy bust, right? Because this is like a vertical, it'd be a 65-yard touchdown because the corner busted it. Just something to look at if you're an Ohio State fan going forward. I put this on here. So we saw last night the Notre Dame game, the stack screen interception. I've never studied them specifically. Why this is such a popular concept is beyond me. It is so crowded. Once again, you're depending on your worst blockers to make the block to the boundary. Quick screens, guys. Quick screens. Maybe they're good in high school. I've never studied them. In college, if they get 5 yards of play, I'd be shocked. Okay, which is a bad play in college. So even if this thing was thrown well, look how it just crowded. I mean, it's just you're putting your worst blockers at the point of attack into the boundary. Let's try to kill stack screens a little bit. I watched USF. Well, they had a good game. At least in the first half, throw about 5 of these, and I don't know if they averaged 2 yards of completion, 2 yards of play. All right, let's try to start killing some of these stack screens a little bit offensively. Maybe they're fine in 2006. Okay, but I think the defense is kind of adjusted and just tee off on your poor slots out there. So this is a shame. So this is Arch. Post over of some sort, variation. Like you will not get against Ohio State, more open receiver. The protection is good. He just gets the drop down so fast. Like this route here, which is in the read. Like I don't quite understand how he's getting to the check down so fast. That is in the read. That should be thrown. I thought the pocket was worse than it was. The pocket looks good. Like 52's fighting his ass off at guard. The hold up and protection. Like his eyes are there. Maybe it's just taking too long for him. I'm not sure, but we have to kind of see that offensively and throw it instead of this check down. Like offensive line, you can't ask for anything more than that up front. Okay, so a miss by Arch there. Good concept. So people that run power, this is probably a better way to block it. Like counter switch, however you want to call it. Everything's the same. You're just switching these 2 guys, right? Because we're trying to put like bodies on like bodies. Same thing with duo. Like I don't like duo because you're putting your worst blocker of the 6 generally on a D end who's wearing a freaking single digit sometimes. Right, so let's put like bodies on like bodies. Let's bluff him, climb to the backer, and then end up just running basically trap. So if you want to call it counter in your world or power switch, whatever, it ends up being blocked up like counter, just tight and stays on the same side. Just much better matchups than having this guy try to mash probably a physically stronger, bigger kid most of the time. So a good concept. Running back's a little bit wide, right? You'd imagine, you'd hope you can hit this thing in one of these interior gaps, but UT's done this in the past. I think this is a good run concept. For those of you who run power, maybe don't have that guy at tight end, this is the way to run it. Ends up getting spilled out, okay, but I think it's blocked up pretty well interior wise. Same thing, great pro again, gap pro. Talked about that a million times. Great pro, we chip the end, we do everything we're supposed to do. Okay, up front. Same thing though, 3-level floods, love them. They are terrible against man coverage, especially when you're tight, especially when they're outside leverage. There's not a worse call than to call a 3-level flood against outside leverage man. There's nowhere to go. I don't know where he's throwing this thing to. Okay, it was a terrible throw. Great coverage, great call, worst call offensively you could be in. Great protection. Terrible throw. Nowhere to go with it. Should just dirted it, call it a day. Oof. I don't know. I've not made a video on this. Okay, so these guys got abused a little bit last year a couple times. They refused to pull the center for whatever reason on these concepts. And so like a penetrating three, like Michigan, Clemson, all of those teams, like those teams abuse this poor center coming back. Now, it helps. This guy doesn't like the most fleet of foot. Okay, he's playing technique, so he's getting back into it like he should be. But something to be aware of, guys, if you are running a lot of these gap pros, pull the center. Right, if he has an open gap backside, pull the center. Make your life much easier. Guard can just stay on it. Right, you're not having a center go back to a 3 or 4-eye even like they did last year. They got beat up pretty good on that. So I'm shocked that they didn't adjust this year and pull the center on some of these, but works out well for him here. 95 certainly not jetting. Playing technique back into the pool, so works out well. Just something to keep in mind, guys, if you're running these type of pros. Now I don't know what his read is here. I don't know if they're telling him, hey, we're running white cross, we're tagging instead of the post or the dig, we're to tag the pogo. All right, the post corner. Right, so his eyes might just be automatically there, but they get him in the perfect call. Sim pressure 3. We're in sim pressure 3. Okay, so your hook guy's a DN. He's not going to get the depth to take the over. Like we have what we want offensively, but once again, I don't know how they're teaching it. Maybe they said, hey, if we're tagging this, we are throwing this concept over here. All right, so they had opportunities. They just kind of just didn't honestly get lucky on some of them based on progressions, because they call this play, the next play, they repeat it, they flip it, it's man free, and they throw the post corner to Livingston for like a, I don't know, 15, 18-yard gain. So maybe it's like, hey, if we call this play, you're throwing it to that side. Once again, they 5 this thing, which I'm not a huge fan of offensively, but that is the best protection you can imagine. So that unit up front was really, really good in protection. Ohio State is not very good in pass rush. That is just a group of just strong, run-stopping guys. But none of these guys are giving you any juice in pass rush here. Talked about in the Tennessee game, these guys are not outside zone guys. Right, outside zone, you have to run, you have to move. That's not what these guys do up front. Okay, you can see when I talk about waddling and not coming off the ball, you can see the left tackle. I would not be calling outside zone at UT against these guys. Okay, you'll just get mushed like they're doing here. It's just super lateral, get no movement. That whole world. Alex Gibbs would be an upset man if you watched this. Ooh, this thing is a heater. Crossing routes. I don't know what happened in this game with crossing routes. Arch Manning, what you can't do is you can't drop your arm slots so the receiver can't see it and then throw a 98-mile-per-hour just knee ball at him. It is a 0.0% chance this ball will ever be caught with that much speed coming in from that low. Right, and so this kind of happens multiple times this game. This is a stupid good throw. Okay, your cover 3, country cover 3. See how much depth we're playing. All right, with the hook defender here. This is a seed throw on the seam. Stupid good throw coming up here. If I can get to it. Imagine it's kind of like a 1 high, 2 high thing. 1 high, I work that side. We're going, kind of like I talked about earlier with the rail. So same thing. They should be running this route with the rail concept with the back, right? So I can go seam. If this defender gets so much depth, then I'm going back underneath it. Whereas high-low, the hook curl defender. Now the hook curl defender doesn't get any width here. So it certainly helps. Damn it. Okay, but this is a great throw down the field. Great catch, great throw. Yeah, that's special right there. Right, so they should be running this same route on the rail concept I talked about earlier to take advantage of the cover 3 look and not run right into people. Stupid good throw. Same thing. There's just a lack of juice up front Ohio State defensively. Three hook player. Good job. Right, running with the crosser. They cover this really, really well. I don't know what they're doing up top, actually. I'm not quite sure what's going on up top, right? Kind of like a cloudish thing where you have a robot. Not sure what's going on defensively. Okay, great catch. I've always liked this from Sark. Is this a third down? This might be a third and long. I can't see it. But I always thought this was a good idea of Sark. Right, instead of trying to pick up all these exotic fronts and stuff, on third down, a lot of times we'll full slide it, which I'm a huge fan of, right? Instead of trying to pick up the 5 twists and the 6 ups and all this kind of stuff in 5 and 6 man pro, which you're not going to most of the time. They have a really nice third and long package where they just 7-man full slide it and just run different floods, which obviously I'm a huge fan of. I've talked about in the past a million times. This is one of those. I say does a really nice job covering it. Okay, at the end of the day, you should have your one-on-one to your great white hope down here, representing for the brand. This is perfect timing because right before this was the 4th down, they threw the white corner to him. And I was complaining, like, how does, no offense to this guy, but how on 4th and goal against Ohio State are you throwing your white corner to your white guy? And then he made up for it here. So what do I know? I know they liked him in camp, but still. I would imagine UT's got a little bit better options than this guy. It looks like me running routes, but he might win the Biletnikoff, so what do I know? Stupid good throw. This takes some cojones at tight end. Like, you know you're about to get smoked. Or you should be getting smoked. Stupid good throw. So this is actually a really good concept. There's not a worse coverage to run it into than cover 2. So we're posting. We are railing to drain coverage. And then we're running an out route. The issue is this son of a bitch right here in cover 2. You're not going to drain him out. So I've talked about, I think I have a video, like the Chiefs do it. But they put the running back strong to then drain this guy out of the way and open up that out window. Okay, much better way of running it than the way of running it here. Okay, so cover 2 is the worst possible coverage. This is a stupid good throw. And a ballsy catch. You know you're about to get smoked. So Tampa coverage, you see downs here. Right? He kills himself, so then I shouldn't say that. I should have come up with a different term. Right, he's no longer vertical. Right, so then I can climb and find the next guy vertical, which would be number 1, who will start at number 1 on the post, okay, and then run with it inside hip. So cover 2, I imagine they have cover 2 beater backside. Yep, so cover 2, they have the classic dig with the bait backside. So this is like NFL style teaching. You're working this half of the field against everything but cover 2. If it's cover 2, we're working this side. Arch says, screw it. I'm working up top no matter what. Don't know how they're teaching it, but he makes it work with a stupid good throw. Good pick twist up top. So I think they'll have to do more of this stuff to generate the pass rush, right? They're not going to line up in 4 down and just go. It'll be dictating the slides, dictating the what you should be doing anyways. dictating slides, dictating calls, and then running pick twist off of it. I just got done with a big twist study. If the defense does their job, the offense does their job, the defense wins on pick twist. Okay, and this is a pretty good example there of a pick twist hitting home. Ball's just out pretty fast. A lot of people would have alligator arms on that play. He did not. Good for that tight end. Good player. This is a damn shame, man. Good call. They're in man free. They got the mass pick. There's no rat in the hole. They're bringing 5. There's nobody to take the crosser. This should be... Now, Downs is probably going to make the tackle. Okay, but still, this should be an easy first down. You're one-on-one with Caleb Downs in the open field. I mean, this is just a fall away. Just terrible throw. Great pro again. Man, this is a good call. They checked it. They saw what they wanted. The whole world. Really nice pick twist pick up here. Zero technique is just not what you want. Then, like I said, like this guy who was at UNC is just not the one you want. I would hope they'd have somebody that could win one-on-ones better than he can up front. But just terrible throw. Great coverage. Okay, we have a bust up front. I have no clue what the right tackle's doing. We're sliding to the right. He's treating it like hot left. Okay, so this should be picked up front. Though, I don't know if it matters. They're in man-free, cutting crossers, the whole thing. They cover the piss out of this route, right? So even if the right tackle doesn't bust, I have no clue where this ball is going to go to convert on 4th and 5, whatever it is. Right, so we're sliding right. Right tackle should be, I don't know, he's treating it like hot to his side for whatever's in. This should be picked up, but I don't think it matters no matter what anyways. This play was covered. So overall, UT fans, don't panic. You'll be fine. You'll be in the playoff. You have an elite defense. Ohio State's offense did absolutely nothing this game. Ohio State fans, I'd be a little bit concerned on offense. I haven't watched the tape. But the lack of any sort of production is a little bit concerning. Your defense is so good, though. I think you'll be fine. I think both these teams will be in the Final Four, and then all will be okay.